We're now going to begin with the installation of the USB camera onto the camera arm. And I've positioned the kite here for reference. We call this piece a kite simply because it is kite shaped. So just for positioning purposes, this is the side that the operator is normally looking at. And here are the two screws that join the two pieces of the camera arm together. So that's just for reference. I'm going to move the kite down, and to make it easy, I'm just going to loosen this lever, and I'm going to pull the arm back to about here just for reference so that you can see what I'm working with. I'm also going to remove the upright for the kite out so that I can stand that up again just to where you can see it. So if you stand this up now, you can see where the two screws go into the camera arm to mount the camera. So I'm going to now remove this and put it into a position on my bench where I can hold it. So how you choose to position this is user preference. You may choose to leave the camera arm on the lathe, mounted on the lathe in the hollowing system. Or in the case that I'm doing here, I've put it on a workbench where I can more easily do the video, just using the old screws as a reference. The old camera was mounted in this position here. So this is how the old camera was mounted. Just for reference, I'm going to place the original camera on the camera arm just to show you how it was mounted. So it was mounted in this position. The old camera was relatively thin in this area here, so the bracket is made to fit that. And what we're doing is we're using a conversion kit. So the screws are going to be longer, and there's going to be an adapter and some sleeves. So we will remove the old camera, and this bracket fits snugly onto the camera, and the new camera is going to be wider in that area, so we have to have an adapter. So this is what the new camera module looks like, and we're going to open it. And when you open the lid, you're going to find attached to the lid mounting hardware. So we will remove that, and we're going to open the bag and remove our mounting hardware. So in that bag, you should find two new bolts and a sleeve that goes over the bolts. So there's two of those, and an adapter to fit the new camera. So we'll remove the USB camera from the box. It will be in a protective sleeve. And some of the cameras are shipped with a cover over the lens. If yours does not have it, it's okay. This is just for shipment. The plastic bag would have been fine. Some customers have chose to leave this on whenever they're not using a system. So what they do is they just put the little protective cover back over it and put the tape back down and reapply tape. And it does tend to keep the camera lens clean, because you don't want to be wiping this camera lens off with your finger or Kleenex or anything like that. You should be using a lens cleaner to clean that, because they do scratch very easily. So we're going to set this aside, and I'm not going to lose mine. I'm going to put it in a safe place where I can keep it there by the lathe in a drawer. And then I'm going to open up the camera cable and straighten out the kinks. That tends to make it look a little neater, and it's easier to route the wiring. So once you've done that, now I have the cable straightened out, and you see I just simply straightened out the little kinks in there. So this is what the camera looks like. And what we want is we want this wire facing just like this, facing the operator side. So on the lathe, it would be facing towards you. I've got this laying on a bench, so it goes just like this. So this would be up and to the right. And as I mentioned earlier, there is an adapter for this, and I'm going to show you that adapter. Uh, there's also some screws in there. I'm going to remove these screws. These were just to show you the difference between the new screw and the old screw. And as you can see, they are much longer than new ones are. So I'm going to set those aside, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the nut from these and remove the sleeve. And do this on both of these. And then this is my new adapter. This is the original camera bracket. I'm going to assemble this so that you can see it. I'll have to take it back apart to put it onto the camera. But this thing has a flange that sticks out right here on the one side, this one. And on this side, there's a recess in there for the new camera. So if I put that up there to the new camera, you'll be able to see it will fit right down onto the new camera. Nice and secure. Okay. And this flange goes into here. It fits the old mounting bracket. There's a flange that sticks out right here that will fit the existing mounting bracket for the camera. So that's going to be assembled, and it will look like this when it's assembled. So the gap here will be facing up or to the operator, and the gap on the adapter will be facing the rear and away from the operator. And it has to be assembled on the camera, but it's hard to see it once you get it on there. So here's the method that we use. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and put the two screws in here. I'm going to put the spacer sleeves on the screws like that, and then this is going to mount just like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the camera with the camera cable facing up, and when it's installed on the machine, it'll be facing toward the operator, toward me. So we're going to slide this bracket on here, and one thing you'll notice, it may touch, there's a little screw right here. It's a little hard to see, but it's right at the tip of that cable tie right there. And you may bump into that whenever you're going on here. If you do, you just slightly rotate your bracket and then it will go right in. So you may have to slightly rotate the bracket and then it will go right in. So as you see, this will go up there like that. Drop it down into that position. You notice the gap is facing the operator. And now I'm going to take this and put it just like that with the gap going in first. Set that down. Set it on top of the camera mounting bracket. And you're going to turn it up and you're going to place that on the camera. And as you can see, it will go in there and snugly fit. It just drops right in. And then this mounting bracket will go right down, and they almost snap together. They're not a press fit or anything, but they're just slightly, you'll feel it when it goes in. And it should look like this now. So as you can see, it's secure here. The flange is sticking out the bottom, just slightly right there at the end of my left thumbnail. And then if I turn it over, you can see the gap right here of the adapter. And you can see the gap right here of the camera mounting bracket. That everything is ready to go now, and all we need to do is mount that onto the camera arm. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully just hold everything in place and start one of the nuts like so. This is easier if you're not trying to hold it and film a video. So I'm having to kind of keep my fingers out of the way of the video so that you can see what I'm doing. So I just started that down slightly. I'm still holding everything together, and now I'm going to go to the other side. And before I do that, I want this cable to go in between the mounting bolt and the camera. And the reason for that is I want it to route this cable to the back and be out of the way. And I have found that if I loop it in here, it will hold the cable much better whenever I start putting it together. And it just looks nicer whenever we assemble it. So I'm going to go ahead and start that one. I'm going to use a 11 30-seconds socket, and I'm going to use a 9/64 Allen wrench. So I should be able to hold that. And you can see a little bit of a gap in between here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep tightening that down until it almost touches. I don't want it to completely touch at this point. And then I will go over here to the other side, and everything should be holding itself in place at this point on the right side. And you can see the left side is still moving. So I'm going to hold this. And I'm going to go down until that nut just touches the bracket. So I can feel it at that point. And at this point, you want to look at your camera and see if it's squared up. It's easier to do from the top, but I can actually feel this one. And I'm going to run this down until there's just slight pressure on it. Don't tighten it at this point. And then we'll do the same thing for the other side. And I'm holding my camera, making sure it's nice and square. And I'm going to go down until I feel a slight bit of resistance. Okay, so once I feel resistance, I want to go 1/2 of a turn. So that's 1/4, and then back up, and then that's 1/4. So that's 1/2 of a turn of tightness once it has made contact. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. I'm going to run down until it touches right there. I can feel slight resistance. I'm going to go 1/4 of a turn and 1/4 of a turn. So that's 1/2 of a turn of that nut after it has made contact. That will compress these spacers, and it'll secure the camera without bending the bracket. So those spacers are used for that purpose. Okay, so that completes that section. We need to go in and start using some cable ties, and I've got a few of them laid over here to the side. So I'm going to take a few of these, and I'm going to position those in the back. So just to make it look better, I like to put them on the back side. This is the side that faces the operator. I want them on the underside under there. So for right now, I'm just going to leave that a little bit loose. I'm going to put about 4 of them onto the cable and the arm. And again, just leaving them loose for right now. Just like that. And I'm going to put those on the back side, so they'll be underneath the bottom. So I'm going to slide this arm out to where you can see what I'm doing. Give me just a moment. So I've removed the camera arm, and I'm actually going to turn it over so that you can see what I was doing on the back side. So this is just for purposes of the video to where you can see what I was doing. So over here on the back side, I want to tighten this cable tie securely. I want this one tight. And I want to go down about 2 inches or so, 2 to 3, somewhere in there. It's not going to be perfect. And do the same thing on this one. And I want this one very secure. Then on the rest of these, I'm going to actually leave them loose. So you can see where my screws are right here. Here's the screws that hold the 2 pieces of the arm together. And these 2 I'm going to leave slightly loose. Put one back here. And I want to be able to move these so that I can move the camera arm in and out and move the cable just like I'm doing there. So leave that one just tight enough to hold it, but loose enough to where I can still slide it. Those first two, I want those secured. So these two are really snug. They're going to hold everything in place. I'm going to use flush cut cutters here. Those look like that if you haven't seen them. Okay, so that completes mounting the camera and the cable onto the camera arm. Okay, I'm going to bring everything back into view. I've zoomed out with the video. Okay, so I'm going to bring the kite around to where you can see it. I'm going to turn it up like this so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm bringing this into the kite. And I'm going to bring it all the way in. I'm going to move some of these cable ties where you can see. I'm going to position this just where you can see what I'm working on. I'm going to snug this down. So this is where I'm at. Now on the back side, and here again you can see this. This is the operator side that has the locking levers on it. And here's the cable for the camera. And you can see how I've routed it around, and the cable ties are holding this secure here in these two positions. These two I have left loose, as I said earlier, so that I can slide this in and out. And as I slide it, I can slide those cable ties and reposition my cable like this and keep it looking nice and neat. So what I want to do is I want to bring this down just to where you can see it in the video, and somewhere in a position about like that. I'm going to lock this down to where it doesn't move, and I'm going to put in the upright for the kite so that you can see it, and I'm going to leave it loose for right now. So I'm going to bring that down to a position about right there, and I'm going to take two cable ties and put those around the cable. Doesn't matter where at this point. So I'm going to take one cable tie, clip it in, take another cable tie, clip it in. So I just went in till it clicked 2 or 3 times. And then I'm going to slide those over this shaft. This is not necessary, totally necessary, but I think it makes it nice as it pulls the cable out of the way and it has something to hold to. So now I'm just going to slide that one in there, and I'm going to try to move to where you can see the other one and the other one here. So now when I bring this up, you'll be able to see it. So I'm going to just bring this up and lock it down to hold it in place. So now what you can see is I've got one cable tie above and one cable tie below this portion of the kite. And those, I can just snug them down. I don't want these tied in any way. I want to be able to move them around. And again, it's just to hold that cable to keep it from flopping around. So now as you see, as we move the kite up and down, the cable can move up and down as well. So now as you can see, when we move the kite up and down like this, these cable ties are not too tight to where they bind, and it can slide up and down, and it keeps the cable looking nice and neat. So now you can trim those off. And that completes that installation. And I'm just going to bring mine back out and slide the camera arm back out. I'm going to get it back out here to where I can see those screws about right there. I'm going to lock it down there. I'm going to bring my kite up to the position where mine normally sits. And mine I always keep just right at the top. Seems to be a good place for it. And I'm going to lock this down. And now this can go back on the lathe, and I'm all set. And my installation of the USB camera for the Wonder Vision Pro hollowing system is now complete. And for my purposes, I'm going to put this cap back over as a dust cover. So that'll keep the camera lens nice and clean. We need to complete the rest of the installation, which is simply to mount the computer onto the mounting bracket and plug up the USB camera. It only has one plug for the camera. There's no power supply or anything. It gets everything that it needs from the tablet PC. Thanks for watching.